In this video, we'll be taking a look at 2 MLB preseason games happening on October 20th, 2023 and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 2 picks for each game, 4 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 2 MLB preseason games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start, if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. UCF versus Oklahoma. The Oklahoma Sooners host the UCF Knights in a Big 12 matchup Saturday afternoon at Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. This will be the first and last Big 12 matchup between the two teams. The Knights are riding a .500 record, but have lost 3 straight, proving that life in the Big 12 can be rough. For Sooner, they are coming off their biggest win of the last few seasons and will not want to be discouraged in this matchup. The two teams have never played each other in a head-to-head matchup, and Big 12 fans will be eagerly awaiting this first-ever meeting. The Knights have gotten off to a good start this year with 3 straight wins: 56-6 versus Kent State, 18-16 versus Boise State, and 48-14 versus Villanova. But UCF has run into trouble in its last 3 games: 44-31 at Kansas State, 36-35 at Baylor, and 51-22 at Kansas. In their last matchup against tough Kansas on October 7th, the Knights turned in a 24-0 run and gave up points in every quarter. UCF quarterback Timmy McClain rushed for 136 yards and 2 scores, and R.J. Harvey led the rush with 133 yards and 1 score on 16 carries. The team was led by Jalen Baker, added 85 yards on 4 catches. It has been smooth sailing so far on the Sooners side. Oklahoma has eliminated all 6 of its opponents so far, with only 1 game being close. In their first 5 games, they beat Arkansas State 73-0, SMU 28-11, Tulsa 66-17, Cincinnati 20-6, and Iowa State 50-20. In their last game, on the road versus Texas on October 7th, the Sooners traded longhorns and punches throughout. University of Oklahoma quarterback Dylan Gabriel rushed for 285 yards and 1 touchdown, most of which came on 5 catches for 130 yards by Jallo Farrick. Gabriel also contributed to the rush with 14 carries for 113 yards and another score. The Sooners, who have good matchups on both sides of the ball, will dominate this game. Defensively, they showed strength against Texas and can focus on stopping the run against UCF. On offense, they have too much speed and talent to stand up to one of the worst defenses in the Big 12 and the nation. It is clear that adapting to the Big 12 has been a struggle for the Knights so far, and this time will be no different. As good as the Knights' offense has been this season, it will be a handful in this one. If the Jayhawks can hold this offense in check, the Sooners should have their biggest struggle of the season, as UCF relies on the run game to set up successful passes, and Oklahoma is 28th in the nation against the rush. On the other side, the Sooner offense could be in line for a very big day. The Knights have allowed 44 points per game in their last 3 games, including a season-high 51. Oklahoma's passing game will be too much for UCF's defense to handle. The Knights' first visit to Norman will be memorable in a bad way. The Knights have failed to cover the spread in their last 3 games and 4 of their last 5, while the Sooners are one of the few teams to cover the spread in every game this season. The 2 trends are going in opposite directions, and this matchup will also tell the tale of what will happen. So the Oklahoma Sooners to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. 2 of the best offenses in the Big 12 will face off here. I fully expect Oklahoma to keep this up and reach or surpass their offensive averages from this season, both in terms of yards and scoring. However, I do not expect UCF to clear the average against a strong Oklahoma defense. Regardless, I think the scoreboard will be worked out in this game. UCF is averaging 29 points per game, even with 3 straight losses. With an extra week to game plan against Oklahoma's defense, they should be able to find spills. The over is 4-2 in Oklahoma games this year and 5-1 in UCF games. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Penn State versus Ohio State. In a Big Ten matchup between 2 undefeated teams, number 7 Penn State heads to Columbus on Saturday to take on number 3 Ohio State. The Nittany Lions dominated UMass 63-0 at home last weekend. The Buckeyes remain unblemished with a 41-7 win over Purdue. This is the biggest matchup of the weekend. The Penn State Nittany Lions come into this game on the heels of a 63-0 win over UMass last time out. Drew Aller is 65.2% passing for 1,254 yards and 12 touchdowns. Kytron Allen has 375 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. Nicholas Singleton has 362 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. And Beau Prevra has 225 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns, leading the Nittany Lions. Keandre Lambert-Smith has a team-high 31 receptions for 402 yards and 3 touchdowns this season. On defense, Curtis Jacobs has a team-high 23 total tackles, and Adisa Isaacs has a team-high 5 sacks. As a unit, Penn State's defense has recorded 27 sacks and 7 interceptions this season. The Ohio State Buckeyes come into the game off a 41-7 win over Purdue on the road last time out. Kyle McCord has 1,651 yards, 11 touchdowns, 1 interception, and a 64.1% passer success rate. Trevion Henderson has 295 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns, and Chip Trayanum has 235 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. Marvin Harrison Jr. has a team-high 31 grabs for 604 yards and 5 touchdowns. Cade Stover and Emeka Egbuka each have over 300 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns, and 2 more Buckeyes have over 100 yards receiving. On defense, Tommy Eichenberg has a team-high 46 tackles, and JT Tuamoro has a team-high 3 sacks. Ohio State's defense has recorded 10 sacks and 5 interceptions as a unit this season. Ohio State is 9-1 straight up against Penn State in the last 10 meetings. Against the spread, however, the Nittany Lions are the sole favorite, going 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 games versus the Buckeyes, and 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 games. They are 3-0 all-time in the Big Ten East, and both schools are 1 win ahead of Michigan State. But things clearly change here. According to Ohio State's game notes, this is the 7th straight time the two schools have faced off as ranked teams and the 24th time in 39 meetings. In last season's matchup, which Ohio State won 44-31, Harrison Jr. became a star with 10 receptions and a career-high 185 receiving yards. He is the biggest focal point of the Penn State defense and will be the key to winning this one. If the Lions can limit the Buckeyes' stud receivers, they will be in prime position for their first win over Ohio State since 2016. That said, the two programs are evenly matched in every aspect, including special teams. The Nittany Lions tend to keep this matchup within the numbers, covering 6 of the last 7 meetings. The Buckeyes are solid, and this is likely to be a heavyweight battle, but it is expected to come down to the final seconds. This should be a typical fight between Big Ten heavyweights, and while it will be worth your time, I think it will be close. So the Penn State Nittany Lions to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. In last season's matchup, these two teams entered the 4th quarter trailing by a combined 30 points, but exploded in the final 15 minutes to score a combined 45 points. In the last 3 meetings, the two teams have averaged 65 points per game combined. Yes, both teams have world-class defenses, but their offenses are just as strong and can beat any defense in front of them. The under is 5-1 in Ohio State's games this season, but the average score in the last 2 games is 51 points, and the offense has scored 35 or more points in 4 of the last 5 games. Penn State is 4-2 this season. They have scored 30 or more points in every game this season. Ohio State has not been as healthy as fans have hoped this season, but that will change on Saturday. Buckeyes head coach Ryan Day was tight-lipped this week about the injury status of Henderson, Egbuka, and others, but I believe they had enough time to recover and play against Penn State. The rest of Ohio State's schedule is not going to be a cakewalk, but this is one of 2 games remaining, and they will need to get the most out of their star players in order to win. As long as at least one of the Buckeyes' top backs is available, the rushing attack will be solid enough for McCord to get the football rolling quickly and disrupt the Lions' pass rush. This is not a tune-up game, so expect Ohio State to use most of its top playmakers in some capacity. It is hard to imagine either defense having a tough day, but I believe there is enough talent on both offenses to wear down their opponents throughout the afternoon. I expect a low-scoring first half, but then the playmakers on offense will shine and outscore the total. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Tennessee versus Alabama. The Southeastern Conference season continues this weekend with a great matchup as the Tennessee Volunteers take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Tennessee comes into this game with a 5-1 record and Alabama with a 6-1 record. After nearly squandering an 18-point lead last weekend, Alabama should be ready to shake things up at home against the Volunteers, who have not moved under the radar. Nick Saban will hold his team accountable, especially considering outbeat Alabama last season. The Crimson Tide defense will be the key to this matchup. Alabama can get after the quarterback and defend the run and pass. Alabama will contain the Volunteers' rushing attack and give the ball to Milton, but Milton lacks the downfield efficiency needed to beat the Tide. The Tide is stubborn against the run, holding opponents to just 105.3 yards per game on the ground. Alabama will have an opportunity to get off the field on third down and hold the Volunteers to a field goal to give their offense one last shot at a win. I am confident that Milroe will be successful against UT. Since Alabama's upset loss to Texas, Milroe has been good in wins over Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and the Texas Aggies, with a 72.7% pass success rate and a 4-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. In short, I don't give third stringer Joe Milton much credit. Sure, the team is racking up wins, but all of those wins have come at home. Their only loss was a trip to the swamp against Florida. Are you suggesting that they will play a close game in hostile Tuscaloosa? I don't think so. Milton is not that guy. Last week against the Texas Aggies, he threw for only 100 yards on a 50% completion rate while adding an interception. This Alabama defense is leaning in the right direction, and I don't think Milton will be at his best. Expect the sophomore to come back in a big game at home to help Bama maintain its lead in the Southeastern Conference West before next week's matchup with number 2 LSU. The Tide's experience on Saturday will be relied upon, so the Alabama Crimson Tide to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Tide is not consistent enough on offense to project a breakout performance against an elite defense. The Volunteers are strong against the run and have one of the best pass rushes in the nation, although they nearly dropped the ball against Arkansas last week. Milroe will get his moment of action late in the game, but Bama's line has not protected him this season, so he will have to hold his ground there. Tennessee's offense relies on the ground game to move the football, but that won't be easy against Alabama's defensive front. If they can't gain enough yards on first 2 downs, it will be very difficult to counter Alabama's 23rd-ranked third down defense, and Milton, ranked 76th nationally in QBR, will convert those plays if Tennessee is consistently forced into third and mediums or third and longs. Will prove unable to do so. Neither quarterback has been outstanding this year. In addition, they have each encountered some of the top defenses in the country. There is no telling where Tennessee will start scoring points. The Volunteers average 231.3 rushing yards per game, but they are taking on a Tide defense that ranks 21st against the run. Ultimately, we expect Alabama to extend its lead and force Milton to throw to a dominant Milton. Getting the Volunteers out of their comfort zone will be the key to a low-scoring game. Coach Saban will have a good game plan to make that happen. Last season's thrilling Volunteers win was high-scoring, but bettors should not expect too many points in this Southeastern Conference powerhouse matchup on Saturday. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.